This is a pewter mini sculpted by Maggie Bennett. This is Artan. He is Bantam scale. Sorry if I'm mispronouncing any of this. So yeah, he's small. He's slightly larger than a mini, but he's still pretty small. You prep these guys just like any plastic or resin. And right now what I've done, he's all prepped and he has been sprayed with some white primer. I used Krylon primer, indoor, outdoor, etc., etc. You can find that at any hardware store probably. I got mine at Ace. They're actually really cheap there, or you can get it at Michael's, craft stores, etc. And I will set the camera up and we should get started. The very first thing you want to do before you even start painting is get reference photos. Lots and lots of reference photos. To make something realistic, you need to know what it really looks like. So the more reference photos you have to reference, the better your piece will be. I'm going to start with a little cup of water. And in this water is a squirt of Winsor & Newton Flow Improver. It just makes the paint thin nicely and keeps the pigment, you know, nice and good. I'm starting with Payne's Gray, number 708 of Amsterdam Expert Acrylics. I got these on dickblick.com. They're fairly expensive, but better paint, better quality, better custom. So I shall start with that. Let's move him out of the way before I destroy it, before I even start. Just put a little bit on your palette. I am using here a Kolinsky Sable 2-0 brush. I don't know if you can see that. I have no idea. There it is. Also got this at Dick Blick. It's actually their Blick Studio brush. It's pretty good. I mean, you know, it's, I don't know, not a name brand, so it works for me. And we're going to dip our brush in the water. Grab some of that paint. Not too much. You want to like swirl your brush in there so there's not much, you know, on there. And then wipe your brush off so there's not too much paint on there because you don't want too much paint. And glob it all up, and then you have all these bumps and stuff, which actually happened to him first, and we had to start over. But that's another story. I like to use, when I wipe off my brushes and stuff, I actually like to use bandanas, old bandanas, because they don't have like fuzzies on them, and it's not going to get your dusty brush all fuzzed up and stuff, and it's actually pretty cool. And I'm an idiot. I told you guys the wrong brush because I actually started painting him and it wasn't working, and I wiped it all back off because I was using the wrong brush. These things happen. So just be patient, get a Q-tip, wipe it off, move on. So I'm actually using the same type of brush. Can we get in there? But it's a 4-0, not 2-0. It's actually smaller than the 2-0. So there it is. That is the brush we are using. My bad. Okay, let's try that again. Getting some paint. And I'm going to start on his muzzle and nose, whatever you like to call it. Give him some mottling, whatever you call it. And here we go. Always look at your reference photos. That's a little thick, so we will use that around here. And you can see he's getting some speckles there. I hope you can see that. And then there's going to be some around his eye. Pretty much wherever the skin is thin. Let's see if I can... Where the fur is thin, I should say. Hair is thin. Gonna give him some under his arms here, legs, whatever you call them. Why is all dust in here? I want him to be pretty modeled. Now there's no one way to do this. This is just the way I'm choosing to do this now. I'm pretty much going with the flow. So I hope you enjoy following that flow since I'm not 100% sure what I'm doing here. But this is just how I do it. You find out what you're comfortable with and how you do things, and the rest will follow. It's just patience is key. I learned that the hard way. So, as you can see, we're moving along. Kind of looks silly right now. I'm hoping that it'll look good in the end. Right now he kind of looks like a horse with fleas. But it'll all come together. So, continue on. Okay, so I've gotten the areas where I want his skin to look modeled underneath. Those general areas. It does look kind of weird right now. But I'm hoping that would work later. Next, you want to put in his spots. As a general rule, make sure to follow the hair growth of the horse, so it looks more natural. And these spots are going to be the skin pigment, so they're going to be slightly bigger than your final spots, because when you go over it again, they're not necessarily going to be the full size all the time, because you're going to have mapping around some of them. So the spots are going to end up smaller. So let's put in his spots. So just think of everything that we're doing now is his skin color, not his hair color. If that makes sense? I mean, it'll eventually be where the hair color comes out, but this is actually the skin that we're painting right now. If that makes it, describes it a little better. Yeah, that's no good. Whoops. Now, what I'm doing here, I actually found some bumps, like some cruds that got in the primer in the inside of his leg here, so I'm just scraping that off and paying attention to that now, before it's too late. We're going to smooth this out and go over it with a little bit of brushable primer, just to, put that area, make that area all nice and primed, and so the paint would adhere properly. But I'm not going to spray the whole horse again, because then I'll ruin everything that I just did. So we'll just brush on some primer here, where I just did the scraping. This is a carbide scraper. You can get them at riorondo.com. They're actually pretty expensive, but they are amazing for prepping. They just scrape things and they're good. Okay, this side is pretty much ready. I'm going to do and complete the other side with all of his spots, and I will come back and we will continue from there.